much, and thank you for inviting me to this very important event. What is artificial intelligence about? It's about making computers smarter. That's the point. And how to make computers smarter by way of two things. One is giving them data, knowledge, and a lot of research is about how to represent this knowledge. And the other is about giving them the ability to solve problems, methods to solve problems, to compute smartly and quickly things, solutions, to get you to your home when you are in your office quickly, so you have a GPS system and a system that computes the best path. So these are the two pillars of AI, methods for solving problems and methods for representing knowledge. What we are today witnessing is a revolution in those two main pillars. The revolution of data is about this knowledge, about not the way knowledge is represented by, but the volume, the magnitude of knowledge, of data that the computer is able to actually crunch. And the methods about reasoning and are also witnessing a revolution, because now the methods are about learning and not about programming the system with methods, but the system is going to use learning processes, which are programmed, of course, to achieve the task. So this is why we are speaking about AI today, because these two revolutions made AI systems much more efficient than in the past. And the European Union actually is in the front line of the most advanced science and technologies for AI and autonomous systems. And it has world-class universities, research centers, and very competitive industries and startups. However, these players mostly remain within the national borders. And we still lack an EU-level framework to better organize, develop, and exploit all these potentialities. So I'm professor in University Pierre and Marie Curie, which is now Sorbonne in Paris, and I work in many European projects. But each country is contributing in a way with its knowledge and so on, and industries, and we don't have this global framework. I'm a volunteer in IEEE. IEEE is a international organization based in the United States. Volunteer means that I pay my fee. And there are about 400,000 members of the IEEE, mostly from academia and industry, to advance research and knowledge in the domains of computer science, electrical and electronics engineering, publishing papers, and so on. It's a professional society. And we have taken the initiative to start this reflection on ethics because more than 2 years ago, we really were aware about the importance of this ethical reflection. And Europe, actually, I'm from Europe, and I'm leading this initiative with my colleagues, international colleagues. Is actually can claim legitimately a central role in the international conversation on ethical, legal, and societal issues, because they are linked, and their implications, the implications of AI and autonomous systems. These issues actually have indeed been addressed since many years in European projects. I remember projects from the early 2000s in which those issues have been addressed, actually. But we weren't witnessing those two revolutions yet. And there have been also many debates like this one organized in the Commission, in the European Parliament, to actually come up with ideas and reflections about the ethical dimension. And European members of the IEEE Global Initiative I'm leading play a very important role in the advancement of this reflection with their international colleagues. So it has been mentioned that it's central to define a European framework and European infrastructure. That's why is it so important and central? Because we have to be present at the international level to compete with China, with the United States companies, which are the front players also in this area. It is central to do that, not only to be present in the scientific and landscape and in the economical arena, but also in the ethical debate, because setting the standards about ethics and the practice about ethics stems from the fact that you are capable of actually being a major actor in the technical and in the economical aspects as well. So the communication from the European Commission last April is really a major step to define a policy toward this achievement and this goal. So now, as I said, as learning and data revolutions are shaping the landscape of AI research and data science, the debate about ethics has gained momentum in the global agora. Why? Well, because these techniques, it has been mentioned by earlier by Leo, this technique actually are challenging, questioning existing frameworks and raising new issues. And we are still in the process of trying to understand where to put the limits, what regulatory frameworks should or shouldn't be defined and enforced. All the more that those technologies, and examples have been given, I will not repeat that, are now impacting individuals and society in unprecedented ways, because computers are everywhere. And in every machine, in every device, in every robot, you have processors and computers. So the possibility that AI expresses its strength within these systems is there. But all those systems, the more they impact our daily life, the more they must be trustworthy. If they are not trustworthy, we will not use them, and they will represent a danger for us. Any of you would board a plane which might arrive to destination? So all the aeronautics industry actually is about making flight safe and trustworthy. And this is what AI also has to be. This implies several attributes that have been classically addressed and studied in the area of computer science, in the wide area of computer science and robotics, within the domain of dependability, resilience of computerized systems. And so that those systems have attributes such as reliability, which is the continuity of correct service, or safety, which is the absence of catastrophic consequences on the users and the environment. Confidentiality, we forget about confidentiality. Now we say privacy. But this is an old issue also, which is the absence of unauthorized disclosure of information. And, of course, resilience to unexpected changes. So the realization of these features actually include processes, validation, verification techniques, error detection, recovery mechanism, redundancy, model checking, and so on. And this exists. We have the competence to address this. However, these have been transformed now with new capabilities. Autonomy and learning raise new issues, calling for additional research and development. All the more that intelligent and autonomous systems are increasingly used to take decisions that orient people's future. It's about the CVs, for example, but it's also about predictive medicine. Predictive medicine will be central in how we are going to manage our lives. And therefore, those systems will actually decide of matters of life and death about our population. So it's really becomes very important to explicitly relate algorithm design and the operation of these algorithms to ethics, because, as I said, it's a central issue in our daily life, so that they can reflect values expressed in human rights and that they contribute to increase human well-being beyond the consideration of economical growth. Of course, economical growth is important, but if we invent new technologies that do not increase our well-being, then something is wrong. So new features such as transparency, they have been also mentioned by transparency, accountability, fairness, privacy, data protection actually has been already addressed by the legal framework of the GDPR, but those must be attributes of autonomous and intelligent systems. Transparency is disclosing by the designer of the principles and values on which the systems are built and on which the decisions are taken. This is not about trade secrets disclosure. It's about the human-centric criteria that are embedded in the systems. Accountability is about identifying the responsibility and liability of the humans who are behind the machines. Let's not forget that even if the machine is going to take some decisions, those decisions are inscribed in its programming and in its learning and its data. And all these have been provided by people. And people should be considered responsible and liable for what the machines are going to do. Explicability is an important issue in this context. The capacity of the system to state the reasons for which it decides to take a given decision or why it has taken it in an intelligible manner, of course. Auditability and traceability for forensic analysis and neutrality about, for example, data bias. It's also important to assess in this reflection which kind of decisions should not be delegated to algorithm at all. It's not because we have this power that it should or could be used in any area. How to go forward? So addressing, and this is the program actually of the AI Alliance, but it's clear that we need more research to understand, to define new development methods that would produce systems and software endowed with these properties by design, what we call ethical by design. Also, empowering industry means providing industry with standards. Standards is a means for industry to actually comply with ethical features just by adopting the standards. So developing standards is really central. The definition of new industrial standards will facilitate the inclusion of these properties in the system. This requires also the creation of certification authorities and organizations capable of providing testing methods and validation mechanism. And these authorities should be, of course, independent so that we trust these certifications. Updating code of ethics in industry and professional organizations to empower every stakeholder in the profession to build human-centric autonomous and intelligent systems. And education is central. New curricula in universities, engineering, schools, to ensure that the designers and the future designers of autonomous intelligent systems are educated, trained to prioritize ethical considerations so that these technologies are advanced to benefit humanity. And it has been mentioned also the impact on the workforce. So there must be also support for training and retraining to meet the evolution of the workforce needs. And beyond this, maybe also a global reflection on the role of work in society. Thank you very much.